What's going on, everybody? Stubbs here from Retro Handhelds. Welcome back to the Retro Handhelds Podcast, Season 4, Episode 1, The Handhelds That Made Us. We got my co-host Rob and Aish here today. Gentlemen, how are you doing?
Doing well.
I'm doing pretty good.
You enjoying these Monday night live streams? Something new for us, right?
It's tough.
Yeah.
Mondays are brutal.
Hard
it's
at
a
work
good
all
way
day.
to end a hard day.
Yeah, for sure. It's nice to be able to relax with you guys.
Yeah, same, man. Same. Mondays are always just a good thing. So for those of you who don't know, we're moving from Fridays to Mondays, and we're doing an alternating thing every week. So I mentioned this last week on the news, but every Monday night at 6 p.m. Pacific, that'll be our slot to go live here on YouTube. And one Monday, we're going to bring you a conversational podcast like this. We'll have a guest on every now and again. And then the following Monday, we're going to do the news, and then we're going to go swap back and forth. So we're going to try that this year for Season 4, and let us know what you think. But today we're talking all about not only handhelds that made us, meaning our original handhelds that we grew up with, our first emulation handhelds, but also we're going to be talking about what games we're playing. And Zoo has a quick update on his thoughts on this month's Game of the Month games in our Discord. So that's a club that we have where if you want to get a bunch of points, get some sweet RH merch, come play some games. So we're going to go over those. As well as answer your questions at the end. So this is a new format we're going to try out. So we hope you settle in, grab something to drink. I got my agua.
Same right here.
Cheers, gentlemen.
Cheers.
The big gold cup. Nice. Very Arizona.
Well, what games are you playing, Rob? What are you playing right now?
So, I mean, I've only playing one game on and off just for time's sake. You know, it's just kind of hard to commit to more than one game at a time. But I've been playing the Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, which is actually one that just came out, I think, about a few weeks ago. It's a pretty new release.
Ooh.
Yeah, so this is kind of cool because it's kind of going back to that 2D perspective that the Prince of Persia series was known for originally.
Yeah.
But it's kind of mixing elements of the 3D games as well. So you got that fast-paced combat, you got the really tight platforming, but Prince of Persia is also going kind of this Metroidvania style game. So there's just a lot going on here. It's awesome. I mean, I've been really enjoying this one a lot. It's everything about it. The graphics are great. The voice acting is good. Yeah, it's really good. So I've been kind of making my way through that one. I'm hoping I can actually finish it. That would be nice.
What? So how long is this game? Is this like a 1 day thing?
No,
You beat it in a week?
No. You're gonna need to put a couple hours into this for sure. I don't know how long it is. I didn't check how long to beat it is, but I don't even want to know. I just want to enjoy it.
I think it's about 20 hours.
Yeah, that
It's a
sounds
beefy
about
game.
right. Yeah, that sounds about right. I mean, it's a full blown Metroidvania, which is really cool because you're kind of getting Prince of Persia.
Yeah.
So if you're a fan of that series, it's bringing in new elements. So I do like that.
So Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown,
Yeah.
and this is on what all systems is this on?
So it's on Switch, which is what I've been playing, and I don't
Nice.
know what other platforms it's on actually. Let me take a look. That's a good question.
Steam, maybe? I
Gotta be on
think
Steam.
it might be on Steam.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure there's a PC version. There's gotta be.
So it's like the old
Oh, here
Prince
you
of
go.
Persia.
It's
so they
on
have
pretty
it
much
Oh,
everything.
it's on everything, yeah.
Switch,
Yeah.
PC, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox
Yeah.
One, Xbox Series X, and Amazon Luna. Nice. So
Retro
Ubisoft-
handhelds.
Retro handhelds.
Yes,
of
it
course.
actually does work on the Retro
Free.
Pocket 4 Pro as
Yes.
well. Just as an
Yeah.
FYI.
Just heads up.
Yeah,
Well, I like the
it does
art
work
style.
well.
Yeah. Stubbs, I
it's-
think you would
it's-
like this game because you were
Yeah.
pretty big on Grim Valor.
Oh,
That-
and I love
that mobile game?
Metroidvanias. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you like? Don't you like Momodora as well?
Oh hell yes, Momodora, dude.
So this is for sure like up your alley. If you like
Yeah.
Metroidvania style games, like for me, I just had to play it because I love Prince of Persia. Like anything Prince of Persia, I'm there for it. It just happens to be that it's a Metroidvania game as well. So for me, that's just a bonus because I love Metroidvania games as well. So everything about this for me is just it's hitting all the right notes.
This is going to be really random, but something about the art style is giving me Treasure Planet vibes. I don't know if anybody remembers that movie from Disney.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
PlayStation 1 game.
like the art style, right? Like you're
Yeah.
thinking like
Yeah, the art
style.
style. Something about the art style is
For
like
sure.
giving me like Treasure Planet vibes, which I love that movie. It's a shame the Atlantis movie kind of buried it, but it's as soon as I saw that, I was like, "Wait, I feel like I've seen this before, even though like
What-
the theme doesn't match. But yeah,
Well, it looks cool. Thanks for sharing with us, Rob. I'm going to download that game. I want to get that on Steam or on Ubisoft or
Yeah, I
wherever the
definitely
hell,
recommend it. Definitely give it a
and try it out.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Aish, what are you playing this week? Going
I'm
on?
playing a bunch of different games. I'm playing Game of the Month, so I finished Metal Slug 2, and then I started Metroid Prime because even though I'm a really big Metroid fan, Metroid
Yeah.
Prime is just one that I've never really got around to finishing. But the game that really kind of pulled me in, back in was The Last of Us Part 2.
Oh, yes. That
started-
is
yeah.
such a good game. The story on that game, my wife and I-
intense.
yeah, we couldn't put it down. I remember we finished Last of Us Part 1 finally in like 2020, and we ran out to the Target right before they closed to get Part 2 and started playing it that night. And we
Yeah.
just didn't put it down until we beat it. So I'm glad you're playing that.
Yeah, so I started a while back, but playing in the living room where my PS4 is kind of hard because that's not really a game I want my 8-year-old to see.
Yeah.
So I kind of put it away and I forgot about it. And then a couple of weeks ago, I was setting Shiaki up on my Steam Deck because it's Steam Deck OLED. I was like, let's see what I can do here. I booted it up. I was like, I'm just gonna play for 5 minutes. I played for about 2 hours, and I just got sucked right back into it. So yeah, I'm usually not a horror fan. I don't like scary games, but something about The Last of Us just kind of makes me. The story's so good that it just makes me push through those segments.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those games where, yeah, the story is just so damn strong.
Yeah.
And a lot of some people aren't a fan of the second one. The first one, I mean,
I've
it is
seen
better.
Yeah.
It is better, but the
Yeah,
second game, it just, to me, dials everything up to 11, and
It does.
it's chaotic. The drama is crazy. The acting is so good, and by the end, I'm just like, I need a third game. Where's Naughty Dog? Where's our third game? What are we
We
doing here?
definitely need more in this
What do you guys
series.
think
I'm not
about
done with
the,
this one yet. Yeah,
What do you guys think about the TV show?
I loved it.
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
the TV show
Yeah.
too.
That's
I thought
good.
they nailed
It's
it.
Really, really well done. Yeah.
It's one of the few times where I haven't been upset by them taking liberties. Like they
Yeah.
stayed pretty true to the story
They did,
itself.
yeah.
They changed
Oh,
some
for
things.
sure.
And when I kind of saw those changes, I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about it because I'm such a big fan of the game. But I think they nailed it.
Yeah, it's again another property that I think there's printing money with this.
Oh yeah,
At first, I didn't
Yeah.
care for all of the acting choices because I had played the game and I got used to the characters, especially the main actress. I forget her name now, but I didn't think they casted her well. But by the end of the season, I was totally on board. I was like, okay, never mind.
well, as you
she's
see
got this.
Ellie during the whole game, and I forgot what actress she was like kind of based off of, but you kind of seeing somebody else play that role when you invested so much into those characters is a little tough because it's a very realistic game. You know, it's not like some anime game or. Go
Bella
ahead.
Ramsey. Bella
Yeah.
Ramsey is the
Yeah,
actress.
she honestly she nailed it. I think she's very good. I mean,
Yeah.
I get what Aish is saying. She's not what we imagined her to look like because of the game, but
Yeah.
she doesn't need to look like the game's character. That's
Exactly.
not needed really. So no, I think she nailed the role. I think she did a very good job.
I was a fan
Yeah.
of her from Game of Thrones though. Like I was like, oh yeah, Lady
Yeah,
of
that's
Bear
right.
Island. Like she's got me.
They were in Game of Thrones. That's right. So they're kind of showing Ellie more as like a 19-year-old actress,
Mhm.
whereas in the game, yeah, they're played about 14 or so.
Yep.
So yeah, no, that's I thought they did a good job with that one.
I thought so too. Yeah.
You had two other games listed here. You also have, you were saying, not only Metal Slug. And
Oh, I've also been playing. I playing Chrono Trigger again. 'cause,
Chrono Trigger. Yeah.
I peer pressured Russ so much into playing that game. And CS, he's like, okay, I'm finally playing it. That I made myself want to play it again too. So I loaded it up on the Steam Deck because again, OLED screen. I wanted to see that game like on a bigger screen, and I'm having a blast playing it again. I absolutely love that game. I'm upset we don't have a modern, maybe not a remake, but like an enhanced version. We really need something like that
Yeah.
for this game. Like, can you imagine Chrono Trigger in the 2D HD art style? It would
Or
be
like
awesome.
even in the
Nice.
style that they've done like Octopath in, like something like
Yeah,
that.
that's
would be
HDTV.
really-
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's so
Yeah.
cool to see. Like Square Enix keeps giving us these re-releases that they I guess call remasters or whatever they're calling them, but they're not even close to that. So
Yep.
I would love to see them actually properly redo the art style and things like that. I think it'd be very cool.
Now this time around though, I'm I'm using cheats for experience points because I've played the game before, so I know
Yeah.
you don't really need to grind too much in that game, but you do have to do every single battle that comes across in order for you to be the right level to beat every single boss. But even then, some of them can be tricky because there's certain bosses that if you attack them with magic, they're gonna heal up or they're gonna load that up and then they're just gonna blast it right back at you and you're gonna take massive damage. So this time I want to go back to the game because I want to go back to that story. I enjoy that story so much. So I'm using a 4x experience cheat, which 4x actually, if you just kind of do most of the battles, go through the game, 4x puts you at the perfect level to where you're still going to have a challenge and you're still going to lose some of those boss fights, but it's not going to be as much grinding. Again, it's not really a grindy game, you know, but yeah, that one. And save states, because you take different choices during the game that can really affect the endings. So sometimes you're like, I kind of want to see what happens if I do this, but I don't know if I want to commit to it. And
Well,
for somebody asking, I'm playing the DS version because that's the best version.
Yes.
Yeah,
Don't
and
play,
we're just-
don't play the Steam version. I've just got
Yeah.
the trailer pulled up here for it. That's all.
Yeah, we're just using the Steam version for the trailer,
Yeah.
but definitely play the DS version. I was telling
Yeah,
Aish
that's
the
the
same
best
thing.
one.
It's like, okay, I'm ready to play Chrono Trigger finally. Which version do I play? And he's like, dude, play the DS
DS.
version.
That's
That
best
is the
one.
definitive version. It's fast load times. It has all the good stuff they carried over and learned from the PS1 version,
Mhm.
and in the PSP version too, right? That's what
Yeah,
they did.
well,
for the
no,
DS.
that's the PlayStation 1 version, a Super Nintendo version. You have the DS version, and there's also a Steam and a mobile version. The
Jeez.
PlayStation version
Jeez.
has
Okay.
most of them have issues though. So like the PlayStation
Okay.
version was more complete than the Super Nintendo version
Long load
you
times.
had because you had the videos and all that, like the cutscenes, but you have long load times. So that kind of kills it. The Super Nintendo one doesn't have as good of music, no cutscenes. The
Sure.
DS one has all of those, and you get rid of the load times. So
Best
it's
of all
definitely the best way
worlds.
to do it. Exactly. And the second screen, you don't have to use it that much. In battles, it does kind of play a role, but you can switch back and forth. And once you kind of know the layout, it's pretty good. That's one of the reasons I chose the Steam Deck, because it's a giant, like 7.4 inch screen, so I can see both screens no problem. And yeah, but the DS version is definitely the best way to play that game.
Well, sweet man. I need to beat Chrono Trigger. I've never beaten it before. I beat Chrono Cross. I love Chrono Cross.
I was just going to ask about Chrono Cross, what you guys thought about that game as well.
I love the art style in Chrono Cross. I like the battle system. I think all the characters you can collect is really cool. But I got to actually go through and beat that game, the original Chrono Trigger.
Yeah.
So I think this is another one that's good to load up on your handheld, everybody. I think it's going to be
It's
cool.
give it a few minutes. It's not that the story's slow, but at first you're not really gonna know what's
It is.
going on.
It's a little slow at first. That's why it's never hooked me fully.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
that's another reason why I do the 4x cheats for experience, because once you leave the screen and you come back, enemies are going to respawn. So
Yeah.
it's kind of a little bit annoying. You want to be a little bit higher up for those enemies.
Well-
But yeah, that's. Go ahead.
No.
sorry.
No, I was gonna say, yeah, no, that's good to know, and you're the guy I'm going to come to if I have questions about Chrono Trigger. You seem to know the game
It's-
very,
it's-
very well.
I love
a
that
noob.
game.
Well, I'll share mine real quick before we move on. I've been playing just a bunch of Pal World, so this is a game, of course, that's big controversy right now, but it's fun. You collect your creatures and you put them to work, and then you go collect more and then breed them, and it's a fun game. My wife and I have been playing on our server because RH has our own Pal World server, by the way. So if you join our Patreon or hop into our Discord's membership, you can hop into our server and build a house. And please don't destroy my house, like my buddy Rip Kyle did the other day.
R.I.P.
And it's just, it's like Ark Survivor, Evolved, the dinosaur survival game, but with Pokemon in quotations. Not really, but it is Pokemon.
It pretty much is. Yeah.
With guns. And,
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much.
and it's just it's a good gameplay loop. Now, I've been playing for like 3 or 4 weeks now, and it's definitely starting to be like, okay, it's a little bit more of a grind now. So I don't know if it's one I'll play long term, but right now I'm still really enjoying it. I want to explore the whole map. I want to collect all 115 or so pals and get the highest level I can, and really just take down Zoo's tower ultimately. So Zoo built a tower that's like hundreds of feet in the sky in this game, and it definitely slows down the map a bit in that area. So it's fun. We recommend you come try it out if you want. The other game I've been playing, actually, I've been getting back into VR. So I've been
Nice.
playing on my Valve Index lately on Half-Life Alyx. Half-Life Alyx is my favorite Half-Life game now, and it's the best, also like the best VR game I've ever played. It is just, oh dude, so good. It's so scary when the head crabs jump out at you and you're trying to navigate. Yep, right there.
I need to play
And
this game.
you only have a few bullets too, so you have to manage your bullets really well.
Leave it to Valve to, of course, make one of the best VR games. You know,
It's so good. Like, I try to play Pavlov. I try to play, Beat Saber. Anything else? At the
I love
moment,
Beat Saber.
nothing. Beat
Beat
Saber is
Saber's
great
close
for
to my
working
heart.
out. It definitely is. And Pistol Whip's great for working out, and some of these boxing games. But dude, if you want straight up just a great immersive, basically survival horror game, Half-Life Alyx is the game. And there's also lots of puzzles to solve. It's very hard. It's horrifying. I screamed at like midnight the other day when I was playing. My wife's like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, I was just playing Half-Life Alyx." She's like, "Oh, I get it. Yeah. Yes, good."
I keep hearing about the Half-Life games, and I still haven't played a single one. Yeah, everybody just tells you how great they are. I don't know
one.
why. Like, I don't know none. I don't really have a valid reason for not playing them. It's just I never really got around to them.
So Rusty Dusty was asking in chat, what do I need to play Half-Life Alyx? Literally, all you got to do is just get the game on Steam and then use any VR headset. Almost all the VR headsets are compatible with Steam VR these days. Quest 2, Quest 3, the Valve Index, their proprietary headset, which is the one I use because it just is built into the Steam ecosystem already. It's like a Steam Deck. You just boot it up and it works. No thinking about it. But the best looking of the headsets probably is the Quest 3, is my guess.
Yeah. And I was gonna say like Quest 2 would probably be one of the cheapest ways to get into it.
Yeah, the cheapest way.
But the Quest 3, I agree with. The Quest 3 is probably one of the best VR headsets in my opinion for the price. I mean,
but
don't buy the Apple Vision Pro. Just
no, don't buy the Apple Vision Pro. And because it is running off your PC, you're going to have a pretty beefy PC with at least like a 3060 inside, or at least like a 2060 to really get the most out of this game. Because you're going to want to run it at the highest frame rate you can, so you don't get that motion sickness.
Yeah,
sure. It's a good one, and I'll report back. I've been playing it almost every night now for a little while after my Pal World adventures. So the other one I've been playing is, of course, Metal Slug and Kirby for Game of the Month. Speaking of Game of the Month, guys, do we want to watch Zoo from Zoo Reviews? He made us a little update video about Game of the Month.
I think we need to.
Yeah,
I think we have to. I think we don't have a choice. So the 3 games this month are Metroid Prime for GameCube, Metal Slug 2, and Kirby's Dream Land 2. So without further delay, here is Zoo with an update for you from Zoo Reviews.
I'm coming to you live from my basement for this podcast so we can talk about Game of the Month. Now, this month, like literally every other month, we had 3 games of the month. Up first was Kirby's Dream Land 2. That was in our early category. Now, Kirby's Dream Land 2, it's a Game Boy game. It's a platformer. You're a little pink. Well, he's gray or green, depending on what you're playing it on. He's theoretically a little pink cloud man that eats everything, and sometimes he can absorb powers. And that's it. You ride gerbils in this one. It's pretty basic. I'm kind of grinding away on it on my 35XX Plus, but that's it. It's Kirby. It's Kirby. In the second category, Joey's favorite game of all time, as of January, Metal Slug 2. Oh. Now, Metal Slug 2 has made some significant changes to the general formula of Metal Slug 1. They've added a bunch of new features, and they've added a bunch of new mechanics, and they've also added some significant slowdown. As in, if you're going to play the arcade ROM of this game, it is... It's bad. It's probably the worst slowdown I've ever experienced in a game that wasn't like literally a bug. Like you're jumping and you're like, And that's just how the game played in the arcades. Almost knocked over my Rad Dad mug. All that being said, though, I really enjoyed it. In some ways, it's a hindrance, but in other ways, it kind of helps. It's like a little cheat code that the game gave you because it was too ambitious. And numero tres for my old buddy Aish is Prime. Now, I'm playing Metroid Prime on Switch. There's a remaster, and I'm actually really enjoying it. I made a stink. I pissed and moaned a little bit. Not as much as Jay Lash, but I pissed and moaned a little bit because I wanted Ike to win. We could have been playing Fire Emblem again. But no, everyone voted for Metroid Prime. And it's okay. When you go into the Morph Ball, it's a 3D shot for a half second. And I kind of catch myself going, I feel like I want to play this in third person. Or, stick with me, flip the camera around and just as a 2D platformer. Like this gal. But all that being said, I do really enjoy Metroid Prime. I think it's probably my favorite out of the month. I'm about halfway done with it. I'm playing it in short spurts. That didn't sound right. I'm playing it in short chunks. If I have an hour or two, I'll grind it a little bit. I'll get a new weapon. I'll open up a new path. You know how Metroids work. But I'm enjoying it. I'm having a fun time. And I guess those are your 3 games of the month. I don't think we have a theme picked for March. Good Lord, it's almost March. Well, I guess tomorrow's Fat Tuesday. You guys got your punchkis? I know you do. They're real good, and they're made with all the stuff you can't eat during Lent. So, what's that? Gary's telling me that I need to stop because I'm only given 2 minutes, and I'm not supposed to talk about punchkis, and I could probably talk about them for 20 minutes. So maybe let us know if you want me to do an entire podcast where I just talk about different kind of donuts. Okay, goodbye.
Okay. Thanks, Zoo.
Oh my God.
What the hell? What is a punchki? What is a punchki?
I don't know, but it sounds good.
Donut.
I want a donut now. It
Sounds
looks
like something
delicious.
Kirby would eat.
It sounds wrong.
It does.
But you know what?
Oh,
Thank
man.
you, Zoo, for your update on your thoughts on the games. I now want to play Metroid as
Am I
well.
the
That's-
only one that's always slightly on the edge of his seat when Zoo pops on camera? Because you don't know
You're
what's going to
slightly-
come out of his mouth.
a little bit disturbed? Like, what's gonna happen?
Yeah. Just like, okay, by the way, I know we have Metroid on screen, but I just want to tell anybody that's playing Metal Slug, for the slowdown, if you're playing on RetroArch, just go and speed up the CPU clock and it'll take care of the slowdowns. For the
No,
most
no,
part.
you gotta
Oh,
play
really?
it as
There you
intended.
go.
No, you have to
You got to
play
play
it
the
as
original.
intended.
Just
No,
like
you have to
perfect,
Play it as intended.
just like perfect
when
Dark
we
Man.
were when we were at CES, me and Russ, when we were at the barcade, we beat Metal Slug 1. We beat 2 Metal Slug games when we were there, and the slowdowns were killing me. Also, because the pad we were using didn't work, so every 5 presses I would get 2 shots out. But the slowdowns were rough. I know that's how the game was. That's not what they wanted though. That's just they couldn't fix it, so that's what we got. There was no patches back in the day. Like,
No,
if the game was
You just
broken,
had to do it.
you got a broken game. But yeah, just do
Well,
that. Just up the CPU clock.
That's fair. Guys, do we want to move on to our main topic of the night?
Yes, I'm
Yeah.
very excited for this.
So, okay, let's get into the chatty chat music. The handhelds that made us. Now, Aish, you came up with this topic, and you were saying that it's based off of, for you, the show on Netflix, The Toys That Made Us, which I've seen that show too. I love that show. And kind of thinking it in that way, like what were the influential handhelds that shaped us as we grew up? And I suppose, Rob, what do you got going on? What you
Well,
grew up with? What was your first handheld?
So my first handheld most likely was Game Boy, at least from what I remember. I got a couple of these guys here. I got actually the original packaging for it too, which is really cool.
What?
Nice.
That is so cool. The Japanese,
The Japanese
release?
one. Yeah, I got a good deal
Yeah.
on the Japanese one, so I'm like, oh, this is so cool. I have to have it. But I think original Game Boy for sure was the first handheld for me. I have some memories of like Game and Watch stuff too, but I think Game Boy takes the cake for me for sure.
And Aish, what about you, man? What was your
So
first?
my initial reaction is like, oh yeah, Game Boy. I played not this one,
Right.
but I played this thing for so long. But I think the one that really got me was the Game Boy Color, because that's for me that was kind of the game changer. The whole experience of playing on the go, the games were just better. The battery life was longer. the memories I have of like borrowing games or going to the swap meet back when you could still find cheap games at the swap meet and picking up just random games that now I know they were kind of like cult classics, but back then it was just like, well, it's the one I could find, you know? So just memories in general. I don't want to ramble too much about it, but yeah, the Game Boy Color to me
for
was
sure.
was
Yeah.
the special one.
Yes.
I loved all the colors. Like that's why I put it on
Yeah.
screen. I just loved all the colors that were available for it. It just I even remember the campaign when it launched. It definitely brings back memories.
I had a yellow one, and I've been trying to track down like a good condition yellow one that isn't ridiculously expensive, because
Yeah.
to me that's the one that I have the memories of. Like
Right.
my so for me it was especially because I kept asking for one, you know, and I didn't get it for my birthday. And back then it's like you're getting video games on your birthday and Christmas, and that's about it. And then my mom actually kind of played it off. Like we went to Walmart and they were sold out. There was no Game Boys, and I thought I wasn't gonna get one. And then Christmas morning I open it up and it's a yellow Game
Yes.
Boy. And then my aunt surprised me. The other gift was Pokemon Yellow. So I was losing it that day. That was like the biggest surprise for me. And I don't think my family saw me for like a week.
You just fell over dead. You just
Yeah,
you
it's
couldn't
just,
anymore, dude.
That's
Well,
it.
For me, it was definitely the DMG Game Boy. It was like probably 1991. I remember going to Sears, and I don't know if I got it for Christmas or I pointed it out, but I remember a memory going to Sears. My grandmother going there with me, and we picked up, you know, the DMG, and it came with F1 Race. So
Nice.
my favorite game, my first racing game was F1 Race, and Raging Fighter was the other game I got initially, which is like a kind of early take on, I don't know, like Tekken or something. Just, you know, it's a fighting game and very simple, but I loved this game and I played it to death. And then when I finally got Metroid 2 Return of Samus, game over. Like I'm playing all night. Wait, what the hell is this new genre of video game that's been unearthed, that's been unleashed on the planet here? You know, I'm under the covers I'm supposed to be asleep, so I got the covers and I got the Game Boy Light, you know, on the old DMG,
Nice,
the
yep.
huge magnifying glass. And I'm like, oh yes, I'm getting away with it. My
See, I have
parents would-
vivid memories of the worm light for the Game Boy.
Yeah.
I guess the Game Boy
Yep.
Color. That's when
Yep.
it first came out. And
Yep.
I
Yep.
remember being like in my bed with the worm light and just trying to play late at night. You know, no one knows.
You're not supposed to. You know, you got school in
Yeah.
the morning.
I'm always blown away by how big this thing actually is. Like
Oh, the
holding it
DMG.
right now, like even
Yeah.
now it feels
Yeah,
huge.
this thing's it's like a brick. I mean,
yeah,
it's
I'm so
really
jealous.
is.
I need to get another DMG.
Yeah.
my other one in there
Here.
too.
So the
Here's a
DMG
meme
I
mini.
got was used, and it came with the Mario Land. It came with, always forget the name of this game, but I always call it Brick Breaker. So you have this little like long spaceship at the bottom. There's a
Yep.
bunch of bricks up top, and there's a little ball flying around. And you have to break all the bricks. I played hours of that in Tetris.
Oh,
That was my experience with Game Boy until my friend got Pokemon Blue, and I saw him play it one day, and he played for like 2 days and then just kind of whatever. Like he would get all the toys, and I asked him like, "Hey, can I borrow this one day?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure, whatever." So I got Pokemon Blue. I'm playing it, and that's just when I got hooked with Pokemon. It was a revelation.
And technically, Michael's correct here in chat, saying no Tiger Electronics LCD garbage is your first. I mean, come on, guys. That was
I
I'm
definitely had
sure-
some of those. I definitely had
I
some
had-
of those, but it was not my first though. So
I had the Little Mermaid one or the Lion King one or something, and
yeah.
you know, it's monochromatic. It just, I mean,
Oh.
those were kind of cool. They were fun, but when you got the Game
The
Boy,
only thing that was fun
Oh,
about
yeah.
it was imagining what a good game would be like.
right? You're like, what if I
Yeah.
had a real?
Yeah.
handheld?
Hey, I had one with
Game
Tetris,
console.
and I put some hours into that one.
Yeah. Oh,
I
the
think it-
Tetris one
yeah.
was good. That's
yeah,
right.
yeah, the Tetris
Great
one was
that.
good. I think it only went up to like level 10, but it was good.
Ban, guys, where's your Sonic Underground handheld in the shape of Sonic? Yes, that no, never.
no.
we can't.
No.
we can't do it.
No, once the Game Boy came
Um,
around, I didn't care about anything else.
Seriously, yeah.
Yeah, I loved my Game Boy to death. But then when Mario, like you have on here on screen, Rob,
Yeah.
Super Mario Land, that was another game changer for the system.
Mhm.
Mario Land 2, that was just blew my
Oh,
mind.
yeah. Mario
That's
Land 2
one-
was fantastic.
That's one I could play over and over again. I only had a couple games, you know, and back then you didn't have
Yeah.
money, and you just got what you got once or twice a year. You'd get a game or something, and you play the hell out of those games, and you appreciate that. And we, man, as adults here, and I'll say this, I've been saying this for years in the podcast, but as adults, it's like now we got the time, or sorry, now we got the money, but we don't have the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as a kid, you had the time.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
you didn't have the money. So it's just like you're always kind of tortured, like wanting to game more.
That's what we
or
tell
wanting more
ourselves.
games.
We need handhelds. Like,
Yeah,
we were
that's
like,
why.
oh yeah,
Maybe
if I have a
I'll play more.
handheld, I'm gonna take it with me and I can play the games.
I
but then
mean-
we just end up setting the things up, and then we just collect all of them and never actually play them.
Well, that's why you have a handheld for every room of your house. So, like, if you're in
That's
the
true.
toilet, you know, you can
That's
quickly
true.
play a game for 5 minutes,
Yeah.
then move it to the next room and keep going.
No, but
Eventually, you'll
what
finish a game that way. You know, it's cool.
what you're saying about like the games we had back then is awesome, because I remember playing Speedy Gonzalez a lot. That's not a good game, but it's just one
No.
of the Game Boy games that
But
I
you
had.
had it. You had it.
Yeah.
So you play it. I mean,
There's
I played
also yeah, go ahead.
James Pond. Remember
Yeah.
that with the fish? You know,
Yeah.
they're not a great game, probably.
It's not. I also played a bunch of like the Conquer game for Game Boy
Yeah.
Color. Yeah, when he was still PG.
Pocket Tales.
Yeah, and that's also not a very good game, but I played a lot of it. Eventually, like I kind of got some better games. Like Bionic Commando. I got Dragon Warrior, as it was called back then. I got more of the Pokemon games and all that. To me, it was the Swap Me though. That's why I was excited to go to the Swap Me when I was a kid, because I knew I was going to be able to get some games.
Yeah. And you get them for cheap, which is really nice. So not only the original handhelds that made us, but what about emulation? Because that's kind of what we're all about around here. So what are the first emulation handhelds that you guys had? Rob, what was your first? Is it the GP32?
Yeah, it really was
Okay.
the GP32. Yeah, I actually had one in high
Okay.
school, and I
Love
remember it was like the sketchy website Lick Song or whatever the hell it is called. And they sold,
Cartoon
you know,
or
they're kind of
whatever.
like the place to get that stuff. So yeah, no, I mean, I have it right here. You know, this is like the third revision of it.
Wow,
This
in the
GP32
box.
in the box. Yeah,
GP32. Wow.
but for sure, I mean, I remember being in high school and exploring this all new world of, wait, I could play games from other platforms on this one device,
Mhm.
and it also has its own games. It just blew my mind. I couldn't believe like what you could do with this one little thing. So yeah, GP32 really is the start of it all, you know.
And if you guys didn't know, Rob made an awesome retrospective all about the GP32 on his YouTube channel. So check that out in our description. Awesome retrospective. And if you want to learn what this thing is all about, you can still buy one if you really try.
Sure.
I even had one briefly like 2 years ago for a little bit, and I was like, too late to the game on it. And what the hell is this? Wait, we've come so much further than
Oh
this.
yeah,
and
for
I
sure.
immediately sold
sure.
it, but you have that nostalgic memory for it.
Yeah, and I think, like, I mean, if you're really curious about it, want to mess around with it, you know, I mean, today it's probably not as impressive as it used to be, but
Yeah.
you know, they probably go for more than what they should at this point. But it's an interesting part of our history, and especially, I mean, in terms of just emulation handhelds. I mean, it really is where it all started. So it's definitely very important in that sense.
When we started out, we started out as a MP4 players. That was like what they advertised these things for before emulation. It's like this is a MP3 player.
Yeah, I'm
He
pretty
plays
sure
movies
it
and
says it on there too.
music.
It actually says it right on the box. It says
Really?
Yeah, it says movies, images, text,
Images. I'm gonna load some JPEGs on there. I'm gonna just
I'm gonna show my friends
look
these
at them.
awesome JPEGs.
Yes.
If you remember,
Yes.
MP3 players were like big sellers back in the day, because like iPads were out and everybody wanted an iPad, but they were pretty expensive. I mean, they still kind of are, but you could get an MP3 player and put like 16 songs on there, and you were set. So
Yeah.
I could see why they were marketing as an MP3 player to
Play it
kind
on
of get more people to actually pick it up.
Well, yeah, the crazy thing with the GP32 was that it was never intended to emulate other platforms. They actually had original games for it, and
Really?
because it was open source, that's what happened. I mean, developers got interested in the device. It was easy to develop for, and that's why we ended up getting emulators on it. So it really did pave the way for what we have today and kind of what we enjoy today. It's very cool, you know.
Yeah. That's one that I'm interested to learn more about, and I'd probably pick one up again at some point, to be honest. Aish, how about you, man?
Yeah.
Was your first foray into emulation on a handheld?
On an actual handheld, it was a 3DS, a 3DS XL.
Yeah.
Not the new
Oh.
3DS, but just a regular 3DS.
Yeah.
Because I would do a lot on my phones. I
Yeah.
wasn't really aware of like this whole handheld scene, all of that. But as soon as smartphones came out, I started emulating Game Boy Advance games on there. But A few years ago, I got an old 3DS, and I just wanted to play DS and 3DS games, and I didn't really know there was a whole like community behind putting all these emulators on there.
Yeah.
So kind of started messing around with it, and it can emulate a surprising amount of games from even like the Super Nintendo. I know there's like this whole thing online where they say like, oh, 3DS can't emulate Super Nintendo, but I played Super Metroid, I played Earthbound, I played Super Mario World, I played a bunch of Super Nintendo games on there. And that just kind of got me going into I gotta look for more things, and eventually it led me into the dark side of YouTube with the retro handheld side. And I found Russ's channel. Yeah, I found Russ's channel, and that
Game over.
really was. And the Retro Pocket 2. And I was like, okay, maybe I can order this. And I started looking around, but
so cute.
I was like, this is a little expensive, this and that. And just randomly one day, a Retro Pocket 2 showed up on Facebook Marketplace locally. I think it was like $60. And I was like, oh, I gotta get this. I still have it. It's over here. And yeah, but even when I had that one, I would still go back to the 3DS because it would just I grew really fond of it. Just playing DS games, 3DS games, because I was really late to the party on those. I didn't really know that all these games were out for it. So having access to all of that, and I could just flip it, put it in my pocket, and I was ready to go. The battery life was solid. I eventually killed it on accident though, because I was trying to put a better D-pad on there, and I killed the screen. I have a new 3DS now, so it's all good. But I do miss that original one. It was an all black 3DS XL.
I remember I had a DSi Lite before the 3DS, and I remember you could emulate on the DS as well, but it was even more basic. I think you could only do like Game Boy and NES or something. It wasn't much.
No, yeah, Game Gear, stuff like that. You know what's crazy with the 3DS? You could emulate Super Nintendo games, but you couldn't really emulate Game Boy Advance games. You would have to go through, you have to go through this whole process.
Wait.
Like Game Boy Advance emulation on 3DS sucks. So what you had to do is actually take the Game Boy Advance ROM, convert it into a CIA file, and then load it up as a 3DS game. And at that point, it would run. A lot of people say natively, but it's not really native. It's just some of the components are similar to what the Game Boy Advance had. So the game runs full speed, and I think pretty much all the games work except for the ones that needed like the peripherals, specific ones. So you could run them, and they would run without issue, but you weren't really emulating them. And Nintendo always said that you couldn't do it, which was a lie because they had the ambassador program. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember the ambassador program. Yeah, when they did the price drop on the 3DS like almost immediately. Yeah, that's crazy.
Because it was like $300 when it came out, and then Nintendo's way of saying, "Hey guys, we messed up on the prices. We're gonna give you a bunch of Game Boy Advance games, but only if you bought the 3DS before this date." So then you got those games, and then somehow they're like, "No, we can't do Virtual Console and Game Boy Advance because you can't emulate Game Boy Advance games." And I was like, "Dude, the community's been doing this for a while. Like, I have a bunch of CIA files installed right now, and they're running perfectly. What are you talking about?"
That's such a pain, though, having to convert all those files to play.
Process.
I mean, this reminds me of the Analog Pocket. You know, originally when I got that, I had to convert everything to like GB Studio format, and not everything worked perfectly. And to me, it's like, I'm just going to go back to emulation. Someone was even asking in chat about that. We'll get to questions at the end, everybody. By the way, thank you for your questions in chat. We will be getting to as many of those as we can here. 3DS, that's a classic. I as well never really got huge into 3DS, but I'm playing it now emulated.
Yeah,
I mean, the DS library is
worth checking out.
It really is.
Yeah.
Like, you got everything right there. You have visual novels, you have strategy games, role-playing games, action games. You have some really good Mario games. And if you get an R4 card, the library is literally thousands of games. And they're really easy to hack nowadays. It's not that bad. And if you manage to get a new 3DS at a good price, you have an awesome handheld that's going to do up to PlayStation 1.
I did not know you could do up to PS1 on a 3DS, actually.
On the new 3DS.
On the new 3DS, a little bit faster chip. That's the one that they released around the time that Return of Samus came out, right? The remake.
Yep.
Yeah, because Return of Samus was a little bit of a newer game on the 3DS. It came later.
What'd you think of the 3D effect on that? Was that a gimmick for you, or was that like a necessary kind of cool thing? Or?
On the new 3DS, it's great. On the original 3DS, not so much, because you had to hold it at a specific angle for the 3D effect to really work. And if you held it there, it was good.
They improved it?
They did. They did more like a better eye tracking technology in there. So now if you move a little bit, it's still there. So if you look at these low res games, especially on like a 2DS where the 3D isn't really there, they don't look that great. The screens aren't that high. At, sorry, I lost the word right there. So the
How dare you?
resolution on the screen, yeah, the resolution on the screen isn't that great, but when you do the 3D effect, everything just kind of it doesn't pop. It kind of goes into the device, and the games just look so much better. Which is amazing that it can actually
Crazy.
do that. 'Cause technically, if you think about it, it's rendering
Yeah.
the game twice in real time.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's exactly what it's
Yeah.
doing. Yeah,
And then
that's I think
Nintendo.
why they went with lower res panels because
Yeah.
of the processing power
Yeah.
required to do that. Because they had to do it 2 times essentially. So it makes sense why they chose to
Yeah.
do that.
And
Well,
if you look at the games that were actually able to get in there, that when they didn't do the 3D, like Xenoblade Chronicles is on there, Dragon
Yeah,
Quest
it's
8 is
crazy.
on
It's
there,
crazy.
Resident Evil
Mhm.
Revelations is on there. Like those are big
Okay.
games that were running on home consoles, and they were able to get them to work on this system. It just kind of makes you wish they would have maybe pushed it a little bit more to see what else they could get out of it.
Well, the one thing about the 3DS that I'm not crazy about is those screens. So even if you track down the unicorn, which is the
Mhm.
dual screen IPS on the 3DS, it still doesn't look that great. And so for me, I keep gravitating back to emulation for 3DS
Yeah.
games or like a Surface Duo setup, as
Surface Duo, I was
as
gonna
our
say
friend
the
Rob
Surface
here
Duo,
is-
you know.
is all
I
about.
love the Surface Duo. It's great way to emulate
we're-
DS and 3DS.
We'll
I would
talk on
say
the
give
news.
the 3D effect a go.
Okay, I want to try. Okay, I'll have to find a new 3DS.
Yeah, definitely get the newer model for 3D because the original was not
test
that
it out.
great.
No.
Okay. Okay.
It wasn't
Well,
good, but no, some games they really like the resolution looks way better because you don't have like the pixely edges. Everything just looks like it's more alive. There's a lot more going on, and you're not so focused on like, oh, this doesn't look as sharp. It just because literally it looks like you're looking into that world. They don't come at you;
right.
they go into the handheld. It's awesome.
Well, I don't know. We'll talk about this on the news next Monday, I'm sure. But Ioneo and their DS thing,
Mhm.
which apparently is pretty cool. Like they're trying to make a 3DS but with Windows on it.
Yeah.
And I wonder if that's going to be the ultimate, 3DS killer, the Surface Duo killer. Rob thinks I'm crazy for thinking that, but
It's
it
expensive.
might be cool. But it is expensive.
I
It is
actually, actually really want to get one badly.
I do too.
I do-
Russ,
I
do
too.
too.
I do. Russ was showing us a little preview of it, and it's like, oh no, I don't want to spend $700 now, but do we have no choice?
no.
It's gonna be It's gonna be used in our marketplace in probably like 2 months for
Yeah.
50.
The funny thing is,
50% off,
Ioneo
so
stuff in our marketplace does not do well. Like
it
people
doesn't,
literally,
and it sells quick.
Mhm.
yeah, it's just they have to drop the prices really low, and it finally sells. Maybe it's like wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm holding out for this one. I'm like, hey, eventually, it's gonna be cheap enough. Because Russ really sold me when he said,
He did.
"Oh, I'm playing Game Boy Advance games on
Well-
the bottom screen, and I'm watching shows on the top screen." My ADHD just went, "You need this."
I need this right now. Well, you can also play Wii U. You
Yeah.
have the split screen
Which
for
is
Wii
actually
U
probably the
games.
coolest thing for me, at least, because now
Yeah.
we actually got a way to do Wii U since we couldn't do that on Android. So like that's really kind of neat to see. I'm really curious about this device. I know it's gonna end up happening. I'm gonna end up backing it. I just know it. So like, just man.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. I'm probably gonna end up moving it on for some stuff, and one day I'm just gonna be like, "Hey guys, look what I got."
Yep.
Sorry,
Yep.
I caved.
Yeah, but it's true. I mean, the highest end SKU is like over what $1,100 or
Oh,
something.
they're expensive.
Well,
Uh,
100.
yeah, I'd
It was
probably go
higher
for the
than that.
Base 7840U. Honestly, like 7840U versus 8840U. It's for what I want to do with it. I'm content with
Mhm.
just the base model. Honestly.
I will find a way to get this handheld into my life at some
Mhm.
point. It's hard to keep up with buying these really expensive
Yeah, the Windows ones are
Ioneo
tough. They're really
handhelds.
tough to keep up with. Yeah.
and 3DS. But if you want Ultimate 3DS and you love 3DS, this again might be the ultimate way to do it.
Yeah.
But purists are going to say, what did they say? Just get it. Just get it.
Just get 3DS.
Just buy a
Because
3DS.
up to this point, it still is the best way. I
Well,
guess
it was
we're
funny
what
because
yeah.
my
Go ahead.
argument for that few months ago was that the Surface Duo was actually really good, especially for DS because you had those two 4x3 screens, and they're
Mhm.
amazing screens, and they were cheaper than what you could get a used
Yeah.
3DS or 2DS for. Now, not so much. So the
Mm-hmm.
conversation keeps changing all the time, and that's the funny thing about the whole space here. So
It's still better
Yeah.
for DS though, because you can't really do DS on the Ioneo Flip, not with the two screens.
Do you guys want to know my first emulation handheld?
Yes.
It's a good
Dun
one.
dun 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 dun.
Oh,
The
yeah.
GPD
That's a great
XD, the original with Legacy ROM on it from Skeleton. Now there's a great Black Seraph lineage ROM for this too, but I like this OG model. This had a older chipset in it from 2015, and this can play up to Dreamcast, PSP, and N64. And dude, the GPD XD is just my
It's
favorite
so beautiful.
Beautiful.
emulation
Really
handheld of all time. It was my
I love the blue
first.
so much.
The blue, there's a nice red one you can get, and just a regular black one. But it was a 32-bit OS, and it still to this day runs great. And I just use it for mostly RetroArch gaming. And this thing, of course, it's a clamshell. I love clamshells, but the controls on it just all felt right to me. They still do. You can do mods and upgrades to it. You can replace it with like GPD Win 2 buttons on the face buttons there. And you can also overclock it way beyond its abilities and even play some Sega Saturn. Sega Saturn runs amazingly well on here. So this is, to this day, one of my favorite retro handhelds. It's just that no one talks about it anymore. You can find it on eBay for about
Partly
$100.
because of GPD too, because they
Yeah.
sort of like forgot about this product. They actually made a really good Android emulation device and kind of looked the other way from it, which is crazy to me. I don't understand why they won't revisit this.
I don't want to say the wrong chipset off the top of my head, but I believe it was a. I'm not even.
I think I had a MediaTek,
remember.
right?
It was a MediaTek.
Yeah.
Yeah. Someone in chat's going to get it before I even think of it. But this, again, it ran well and just like the feeling. I know, Aish, I sent one to you.
There you go. Oh, it's rock. It's rock.
Right. It's rock chip 3288. That's what it was. Now that one again just worked well with Saturn, and it had like great clicky shoulder buttons. And I became obsessed when this thing came out. I was like, how the hell? Before that, I had been playing emulation on my Amazon Kindle Fire tablet with a telescopic controller, and this all-in-one came out, and I brought this camping to Alaska for years and years and years. And thanks, Crystal. Yeah, I know. I've been on YouTube too much. Take a look at the B-roll. Take a look at the B-roll.
Blue, man.
Cinematic pan.
I could do some things with that.
Ooh, buy it. No, these are about $100 or so. But to this day, I'm repeating the same thing over and over again. I just love it so much, and I can't stop gushing over the GPD. And Rob, you even found a picture. There you go.
Oh yeah, that's the first one I picked was the blue one. I love that blue.
The funny thing about these is that the blue one actually is the least amount of storage. So it only has, I think, 16 gigs of onboard. So it's kind of tough to get custom firmware on. The black one had 32 gigs of onboard storage, and the red one had 64. So if you got red, you were like, whoa, I got the best handheld on the market. Like, this thing is ridiculous. 64 gigs of internal storage. What are you going to do with all that? Problem was, it had a glossy shell, and it was full of fingerprints. But my buddy Kyle, Rip Kyle, has the red, and that's the one that he plays still to this day too. Like, we both just rock our GPDs when we go camping together. So yeah,
this
those
is
are
the
fun.
handheld that made me a little upset when I saw sliders on the flip, because they were like, "Oh, we can't really
100%.
fit sticks," and I was like, "Dude, GPD did it years ago. What are you talking about? You can't put."
They did
sticks
it
on there."
in the Win 1, the Win 2. I mean, like,
Yeah.
like, what do you mean you can't be done? Of course it can be done.
Yeah. Why is there
See
no
it next to a
no
flip.
sun there?
Okay, hold on. Sure.
The funny thing is, the flip is very chunky. It's a
Yeah.
chunky guy.
It's got a huge battery in it, so and it's more compact, but I still feel. Well, no, actually, I guess I'm not
The
really.
XD
yes.
looks very much like a DS or 3DS. I mean, it really
does.
really
It
nailed
really,
that
really
part
does.
of it.
No, I'm remembering now when I did the teardown on the flip, and yeah, they put the battery right behind where the sticks are, so it would have been a little hard. But I feel like they could have done something to get some sticks on there.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, it would have been better. I didn't really enjoy the sliders that much.
No, I had some issues with it too.
Yeah.
I don't think it was the best solution for that, but
No.
Clamshell year. Let's go.
Joey's not going to be happy to hear this, but it's definitely not my favorite Retroid device. So it's
Oh
just,
no, it's not.
Yeah.
We're probably gonna get another one this year though. So
I
we
hope
get
so.
another
I
chance
actually
to do
hope
it,
so.
yeah.
I would love for them
Heartbeat.
to take another shot at it, because just based on what they've done with their main line, like from the Pocket 2 to the 3 to 4, like just all the changes that they've made over time, I'd love to see a Flip 2. I think they would do a really good job with it.
Yeah, because I don't think we're getting another 4x3 handheld from them this year, and they're not gonna do another 16x9 or or a Retro Pocket 5 this year. That's not really something they do. They're like one a year and that's it. So we're gonna get some offshoot later on, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna be the Flip. Like they spent a lot of time working on that hinge and getting all those things worked out to
Love
not
the
do
idea.
another one.
Yeah, I love the idea for it. I don't think the Flip was there yet. It's definitely not there yet. But it was close, but not enough for me to be like, this is my daily driver or anything like that. So yeah, Flip 2, give us that with what, a D1100 in it. Let's go. Flip Pro. Yeah, guys, that is cool. Well, those are our emulation handhelds that we grew up with, or that we, were influenced by, and then the ones we grew up with, of course, Game Boy, 3DS, Game Boy Pocket, Game Boy Color. That's a good. These are some top ones. What about some alternate options? I mean, I played a Game Gear at my buddy's house. That one I thought was so cool at the time. I didn't realize that the battery life was like 2 hours. You had to load like 6 AA's or something like that.
What's funny is that I have like one of the modded Game Gears, and it actually, now the battery life is amazing with that, but it actually beat out one of the emulation handles I was doing a battery testing against. So
really,
yeah,
that's
tables
incredible.
have turned now.
My, how the turntables! Excellent. Yeah, I mean, there's so many. Just you could mention other ones that I played when I was a kid. Of course, would have been the Game Boy Color, and that interim one, the Pocket. And then for emulation handhelds, besides the XD, of course, the Retroid Pocket 2, and of course the NVIDIA Shield. Yes,
this crazy thing.
The Shield Portable.
It's ridiculous.
I didn't have one back when it was popular, but I got one later, and I was like, this thing is cool. I'm not going to use it at all, but it is kind of fun.
I actually there's a review I did on Amazon that's still on the website. You could still see the review that I wrote from like 2014.
It's probably the best review on there.
Yeah.
People are talking about
it's pretty detailed. It's very long.
The Turbo Express. People grew up with the Nomad.
The Turbo Express, man. That's like a holy grail for me. Even today, it's so expensive.
I was completely Nintendo fanboy as a kid. There was no way you would get me to try anything else until the PSP came out.
Oh, dude, PSP.
Yeah,
again, another game changer.
PSP was crazy. So I knew everybody was hacking it, but I was so scared to hack mine because I was like, dude, if I break this, I'm not getting another one. So I never hacked my PSP until I was an adult.
So careful.
I was, of course, the friend.
Yeah, now it's no big deal now.
No, it takes like PSP. 5-10 minutes.
Oh yeah, it's a joke now. Yeah, it's
bada bing,
so
bada bing.
easy.
Watch a Retro Tech Dad video. Watch a Retro Game Core video. Aish Tech Talk video. Good to go.
No, it's just back in that time, like one, they were expensive, and as a kid, you're like, if I do something to this, there's no way I can talk my parents into buying me another one. And at that time, I was like, this is my MP3. I'm watching Jarhead because that's the only movie that I had for the PSP, and I rewatched it way too many times
because that's what was packed in with mine.
Yeah, I don't know how I ended up with Jarhead, but I know I had Jarhead, and I had a bunch of PSP games. I had NCAA Football 07, which I played. Oh man, I don't even know how many hours I put into that game. But that thing was amazing.
NHL, and I used to ride the Metro to go see the Capitals play, and I'd play NHL on my PSP while I'm riding the Metro there. So, it's just
everywhere I could. I've always been obsessed with the NCAA football games ever since like the first day I tried. I think it was like 06, the first one I played, and they just hooked me. So when I saw like, oh, this is a portable version of this, I am not talking to anybody.
Game over. Yeah.
Leave me alone. I'm gonna be doing this, and
I need to settle in.
Yeah.
Well, guys, if you're ready for it, let's get into listener mail. Should we answer some of these questions we got started? We don't have too many today to go through. So this is going to be our final segment on this new fancy season 4 podcast format. But the first one is from the 3D Printed Studio. Which U.S. sweatshop is Stubbs Nubs made in? I wonder. The 3D Printed Studio. Speaking of, I got a package today from the dude. Look what's coming around on the shop. These are you need to see this. These are Odin 2 and Retroid sized nubs. All the classics. Plus there's a new design coming out. We don't have a name for it yet. Focus camera. Come on, there you go. Kind of like a dome shape with like these little divots in it. These little concave divots. So we'll have to get some beta testers for these. But I'm excited. If you have an Odin or a Retroid device, anything with that size, get yourself in the description. These are $4 and use code Stubbs1. That was my shameless plug. Thanks for batting, for setting me up to bat that out of the park 3D printed studio. I don't endorse sweatshops unless you run one, in which case, stop it now. Next question.
Or quote us a price. I don't know.
Or yeah, let's see what kind of money price we get here. iPod chips 2008. What would you say is the most influential gaming handheld of all time?
Game Boy.
Yeah, I think Game Boy. I think
Game
we kind of
Boy.
cheated and we saw this one a little bit before. We were talking about it, but Game Boy is very important. I feel like
In
not
modern
many
day?
people think about Game and Watch though.
Oh yeah, I
Oh,
agree
Game
with
and
you, modern
Watch.
day.
Yeah.
No, I
Modern
have
day
to
for
say
sure,
Game Boy.
yeah.
There's
Yeah.
just it was when the Game Boy was out, it was Game Boy and everything else. That's it. Like
It's so true.
you
yeah.
Sega has some good handhelds, but none of them are remembered in the same way as the Game Boy is as a cultural thing. Individually, yeah, there might be
Yeah.
some people that have better memories about their Sega, no matter
Get a Steam
whatever
Deck.
Sega handheld you had.
Just get a
But
Steam
the
Deck.
Game Boy was it. Like,
Buy Steam Deck.
yeah, buy a Steam Deck if you don't have a Steam Deck. It's amazing.
Plays
Mine's
everything.
right over here. It really does. Power isn't everything. The Steam Deck is amazing. But yeah, no, I think it's easy. The Game Boy. You pick if you want Game Boy DMG, Pocket, Color. It's up to you. Nintendo says they're all the same, even though they're not. But yeah, just pick whichever one you like and go with that one.
And even its dominance in the market, I mean, it really says it all. I mean, the Game Boy was truly influential in that sense.
Game Boy's still a household name.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
people see a lot of
Oh,
these handhelds. They're like, "Oh, is that a Game Boy?" Up to this day, even though the Game
Yeah.
Boy hasn't been made in what, like 20, 30 years at this
yeah,
point,
it's so true.
people are still like, "Oh, it's a Game Boy."
Next question. Michael Benny. Would you play a Last of Us kart racer like Crash Team or Jack's Combat Racing?
You know what would actually be cool? More like a twisted metal style Last of Us.
Oh, yes.
I'd play that. Yeah,
Yes.
I'd definitely play
Oh
that.
yeah, that'd be really
Yes.
cool.
Yeah.
Twisted Metal, one of my favorites. Oh, yes, please. Yeah, with Ellie and Joel. Just, I don't
Just
know. I think,
hunters everywhere.
yeah, maybe like a Crash Team Racing where it's like really silly though. Like that would just be not appropriate at all. But I think I'd love it.
Can you imagine a bloater on like a tiny cart?
It's just bopping around. There we go. There we go. Thanks, Michael. Well, good to have your question. Thank you. Zen Zero, where's Zoo and Gary? Well, as you know, Zoo was live on our show earlier, then he had to dip out, and Gary is, of course, his producer who films his content. So they're over here in the ether somewhere. Great question. Thank you, Zen Zero. KSAMJ. So are you guys anti-FPGA devices like the Analog Pocket and only software emulators?
Mm-mm.
No, I actually
No.
own a Mister and an Analog Pocket, so I actually
Fun.
follow FPGA quite a bit, and I love the progress that I've been seeing. There's some other stuff coming out for FPGA that's interesting too, but no, I think what they're trying to do with FPGA is really important for the space as well. So
It is.
both are great to have.
Yeah. I mean, I tend towards emulation, of course, myself,
Mhm.
but FPGA, if that's the true, real, better than emulation, it's the thing.
My opinion on it, see, that's where I would do a little bit pushback on it. For a lot of systems, I don't think the majority of users are going to notice a difference between software emulation on like a Game Boy game and using something like the Analog Pocket.
Right.
And there's also like a cost of entry. Like you can pick up a Miyu Mini or a 35XX for like $60. You're not going to get an Analog Pocket for less than, if you're lucky, what, $150, $200. So there's kind of that.
Mhm.
Like, yes, it is going to be more faithful to the original game, but software emulation has gotten so good, the chances are you're
really
not going to
has.
really notice a difference. Now, on certain things, like if you're doing FPGA with like N64, maybe there might be some difference there, I guess. But I think the FPGA crowd is so vocal about it,
Mhm.
when in reality the actual user experience is like it's not that big of a difference from the day-to-day stuff. I'm sure you can be like, no, this
For your average
thing
gamer.
is for your
Well, look
average
at it
gamer,
this
it
way.
doesn't.
The Analog Pocket's designed to play Game Boy games. Now look at the RGB30, which has a really great screen.
Yeah.
But the cost of entry for something like that, and for most people, that's going to be more than enough. They'll be able to relive their favorite Game Boy games, Game Boy Color games, for literally a third of the price. So
Yeah.
that's where emulation is still really nice to have, because it's just affordable for most people.
Yeah.
That's the key thing.
Plus
Yeah.
menu
So
eye on the RGB30 is
Oh,
just
I
makes
love
it
the new color. Oh man.
top choice, man. Yeah.
So yeah, for me personally, I'm in no way against FPGA. I think it's awesome. I appreciate that it's there. But if somebody asks me to recommend a handheld and they're like, oh, I want to play Game Boy games, it's kind of hard for me to recommend them an Analog Pocket versus a Mini or an RGB
Exactly.
or an RGB30 or a 35XX. Like that's kind of where I land on it. Now, if they were more accessible, like price wise, like that new if somebody really wanted the Game Boy experience, that Game Boy FPGA that came out not too long ago, I could
Yeah.
look at something like that. Like, okay, that makes sense. But then you're also limited to just Game Boy games. Whereas something else, you can play a bunch of systems.
True. Thank you, KSAMJ. Next question. John Roy's Miu Flip info. Well, there were some new designs we were seeing, but I wasn't sure if they were fan designs. So you'll see some of that on the news from us on Monday. You guys seen anything new?
I think someone in Shem's channel asked Miu, on their AliExpress website, and they give the auto response expected, in March or
Soon.
whatever it is.
Yeah. Oh, March. March is good.
March, April, but it's like the P60 all over again. Every month, someone went in and asked, and it was like, oh yeah, we're working on it. It's coming, next month. Like,
Yeah.
it never showed
I feel
up.
like Ambernick's gonna have their flip out before Miu does. I'm like, Ambernick hasn't said anything, so don't take it as like, oh, they're spilling news. But I feel like there's gonna be a third 35XX line of device, and it's gonna be the flip.
Has
Yeah,
Handhelds
very
ever
surprised
done
if
a
they
flip
didn't.
device? I don't think they've ever done a
No,
clip
they haven't.
device.
They
This
haven't.
is
But
their first.
yeah, but
That'd be
you remember the design that leaked that we showed
Yeah.
a while back with like the four
Yeah.
face buttons in the layout of like the Game Boy Advance SP. I would be very surprised if we don't see like the 35XX line get that one too.
And people are asking, do you mean the Pokemon colors that were fan art on the subreddit the weekend? Yeah, so that's what I saw. I assumed it had to be fan art, right?
Yeah, the
The
Pikachu
custom-
one of those. Yeah.
Pikachu, that can't be real. Okay, well, that's good to know. Thank you. Next question. I'm gonna go straight to Nate's question. Who on the RH crew would you kill for the Miu Flip to
I was
release?
literally just reading that.
I mean,
question.
Raven.
No hesitation. there,
Would it
just,
be
yeah, I
cruel to
think
say
Raven.
Joey?
Oh.
I know he's not sort of
Joey.
part of RH, but
He is.
he's the
Part
one
of
that
the
wants
crew.
it the most.
Oh yeah, so we kill Joey.
Yeah,
we eat
for
Raven.
sure.
We kill Joey, eat Raven, marry Zoo. Right? Is that what we're doing here?
Oh no, I mean you can
Oh,
marry
okay.
Zoo if you'd like.
Yeah,
but
I'm good.
not-
Well, I mean, you
Oh.
don't want to take one for the team.
Well, he did enter the room at 3 a.m. at CES. Anyways,
Yeah.
thanks. Great question.
do
Kyle
that.
Ruggles. Can't we get floating windows working on these handhelds via developer options?
That's tough. So on Windows, yeah, you can do it because it's just dual monitors. But having multiple windows on like an Android OS is a lot more complicated than doing it like Windows. So I don't know, but you could, I theoretically. But you remember, like companies spend God knows how much money trying to get it to work, and it was still buggy. So I don't know how good it would be for like a retro handheld. It just
I
got
just
quiet.
showed
I was
up
like, what
and
happened?
all talking about killing other RH people. No. It was a legitimate question. Nate had asked, who in the RH crew would you kill for the Miu Flip to release, and we just answered honestly. So I mean, but no death. We're friends. No beans. Reddit won't like that.
No.
Swapology. Would you all recommend the cheapest model Steam Deck, the $400 LCD version, or the OLED?
I would recommend if you can only get the LCD model, get the LCD model. If you can get a crazy deal, I saw them for like $250.
Oh,
Yeah, definitely do something
Yeah.
like that. But if you can get the OLED, if it's within your price range, definitely go for the OLED. It's just
For
it's
sure.
a better experience altogether. The screen is better, the battery life is better, the thermals are better. Yeah, your experience is just going to be better.
It
But-
really is worth
yeah.
it. It really is worth the extra cost.
Yeah.
Unless you can get scored like Aish was saying, like, you guys can get some really good deal in the LCD version, which again I've seen really cheap as well.
Yeah.
I say OLED all the way. It's
Definitely
improved in every way possible.
If you have an
Just
LCD and you're
is
happy
so
with it,
nice.
keep it. Keep enjoying your LCD. I'm not. I don't want to say like, oh no, the OLED is just that much better, but it kind of is that much better. But yeah, if you can get the OLED, get the OLED. If not, you're going to be more than happy with the LCD. What is he doing?
My Steam Deck's stuck in my shirt.
Oh, nice.
I don't know where it went. Okay.
That's right now. The Steam Deck is my
Where did it even
favorite
go?
handheld. I think it might currently be my favorite handheld of all time. Like for nostalgic sake, the Game Boy, sure,
The Steam
but
Deck.
the Steam Deck, it's just everything I want to do on it, I can do it. And that new OLED screen is just that much better. Like I've been playing PlayStation games on there with Shiaki, and
So
it's
good.
cool because you can actually zoom the screen a little bit, so it fills up the whole screen, and it just looks great.
Yep. It is good, and it's my favorite handheld to use with those AR glasses. I'm about to review those Veacher 1 AR glasses. Oh, it's good on the Steam Deck. It is so good on the Steam Deck. Thank you for your question. Troy Moson, CD Romance got shut down. Not a question, but I pinned it because it's a good topic.
Yeah.
Pour one out, everybody.
I saw that. Yeah.
Cheers to a legend.
Do we know exactly what happened there, or
It might come back though. So apparently it got. So Sujana covered this, and I have a little bit fuzzy like the details of it, but it got flagged for something, and they got their Google AdSense taken away, so they were under review, and in order to be able to make money off the website, you kind of need those ads there. So they killed all the links while they're under investigation. So I don't know if after that they might come back or not. I'm not sure what's going on right now, but for now they're not hosting anything. But CD Romance is still there. Just I don't know if it's gonna be back business as usual after all this or not.
Yeah, I mean, and they're hosting the links, of course, offsite, like you guys are saying, and there's other options though. If you're dedicated, there are other places out there. Not that we would know where to go. I don't even have a link for that anymore. But what do we feel about this? Game preservation. It sucks. Game preservation is important. Whether you feel one way or the other about piracy, game preservation is very important. We don't want to lose these works of art to time. We need to back these up. So, great question. Thank you. What comes first, Gary reveal or Miyu flip? Oh boy. Yeah, it's hard to say on that one. Miyu flip is in March. Gary lives forever, so I don't know. He's an immortal being. So
just forget. The best thing you can do is forget about the Miyu flip, and if Gary. It shows up, awesome. Yeah, Gary isn't. Don't worry about Gary.
Don't say that. Don't say that. Miyu might forget it exists too.
Well, I mean, P60. But
exactly.
Just wait for at this point. Just wait for the Ambernick one. It seems like Ambernick's just out there trying to like take
everybody to the punch.
Yeah,
basically.
Exactly.
I mean...
Good question. Thank you. Very good question. Well, everybody, this has been a fun first episode for me. I don't know how you all feel, but I like the conversation, guys. Let's keep these going. So join us not next Monday, but the Monday after next Monday. Well, we're going to have Joey from Joey's Retro Handhelds. That'll be Monday the 26th, and we're going to ask him all sorts of questions, and we're going to gather your questions. So whatever you want to say or have asked to Joey, let us know, and we'll load those up and get his hot take. Last time we saw him, he was eating Chick-fil-A in the corner in Las Vegas in our Airbnb.
Dude, we were all like enjoying delicious sushi. Out of nowhere, Joey just comes in with like a kid at midnight, just sneaking away snacks with his sauce.
He's just got a shipment of like 5 of the Chick-fil-A sauces. Michaela from Team Retro sent
to him.
Problem, man. He's got a problem with Chick-fil-A.
Loves American fast food. What can I say? I mean, he has good taste. Chick-fil-A is delicious. We have one close to my place here, and that sauce is out of this world. You can put it on everything.
It really is.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Well, everybody, thanks again for joining us. We hope you've enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to stay in the know, of course, for all of your favorite retro handhelds. A special thanks, of course, also to our channel members, patrons, and subs for making this show possible. We really couldn't do any of this without you. Also, don't forget, check out the Retro Tech Dad. He's right there on the screen right now, right by his favorite buddy, Roof Pooper. And
no, not anymore.
that's right.
No,
that's
not
right.
anymore.
You graduated.
Yeah, unfortunately, not anymore.
It's about to move again, so don't get too comfortable.
Wow.
We have all kinds of perks to check out. Also, we have our YouTube memberships now. It's only $3 a month. So if you enjoy what we're doing here and you want to support, that is a great way to do it. Or, buy a t-shirt or get a handheld, whatever you want to do. There's lots of ways to support what we do here. Check out Rob's channel at Retro Tech Dad. He is the Retro Tech Daddy, our Retro Tech Daddy. And we are so happy he's back for another season as our co-host. Oh boy. And Aish has fun, new, exciting things in the works. He has a new playlist on our channel he has a sub channel basically called Aish Tech Talk, where he'll be covering all sorts of tech, not just handhelds, some modern tech, some Windows stuff. I'm really excited. Aish makes the most beautiful videos. So, Aish, what do you got next for us? 556?
556 is going to be dropping on Thursday. I was going to do Wednesday, but there's some other things that I want to make sure I cover on it.
Okay.
I'm going to do so just to kind of let you guys know. Amberlink has performance profiles, and before they didn't make a difference, but I've noticed there's a difference in this specific device. So I want to check a little bit more into those and do some more game testing. So expect it Thursday. Yeah.
Okay. Thursday it is. Check back on Thursday.
Mhm.
Well, don't forget, check that one out. Watch our other videos and join us next week where we'll be talking about the news with Ban and Rob here. As always, this has been Stubbs on behalf of Rob, the Retro Tech Dad, and
Bye,
Aish.
guys. Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Take care of your handhelds, everybody, and each other. Bye-bye.
Bye.